If you've been watching TV for the last few days, I can guarantee you've seen the trailer of this film. It's there like every hour. And the next person on stage in this film, it's her first mainstream Bollywood film. She's a person who has always lived outside her comfort zone. She is an actress who began her career completely outside her comfort zone because she isn't Indian and is now part of the Indian film industry. She only acts in Indian films, so India is her comfort zone right now. And in the new film that she's in, her entrance is on a horse, and it was her idea. She decided that she was going to have this action-packed entrance. So this is something that has sent out a lot of messages because the visual of her on that horse is something that's captivated a lot of people. It harks back to another age. She didn't need to work out to get the bikini body that she had for this particular film. Apparently, she didn't need to work out at all. So fitness is another really big thing for her. And that film is called Singh is Bling. Could we have the audio visual, please? Could I please welcome Amy Jackson?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Hi.
So, Amy, your first mainstream Bollywood film. You've done South Indian movies, you've done other films. Your first mainstream movie, the biggest thing you've ever done here?
Yes, for sure. It was an out-and-out Bollywood fiasco. It really was. And Singh is Bling. It's not an actual sequel to Singh is King, but it's the next best thing with the entertainment and the fun and the energy. So it was fantastic.
How many people here? I mean, I remember when Singh is King came out, and for how long those songs were played in clubs and nightclubs all over the city. How many people here have seen Singh is King? Okay, so this isn't a sequel to Singh is King at all. It's a completely separate film.
It's completely separate, but it has Akshay Kumar again, and it has all the fun of the last film.
Were you nervous about acting with a superstar like Akshay Kumar? I mean, you have acted with superstars, but this was the first time that you were acting with a Bollywood superstar.
The very first film I ever watched Bollywood was Namaste, London. And I never dreamed that I'd get a chance to work with Akshay, especially so soon in my career. And I remember the first meeting just before I signed the film, and I was very nervous. I didn't know what to expect. And he came in, he was very humble, very grounded, and very funny. So after that first meeting, it was fine. And after, when we were on set, he was constantly making jokes and pranks. So he's a good co-star to have. So,
I mean, we've heard from many actors. Here at Conclaves, we've had other stars who've acted with people like Akshay Kumar. We've always got uplifting stories about what a fun guy he is. He's very into health and fitness. So it's a very positive atmosphere on set. So when you made Singh is Bling, tell us something about some of the experiences interacting with people like, Lara Datta and Akshay Kumar.
Well, Lara Datta, for instance, she's a big inspiration for me. I remember when she won for Miss Universe. So again, I was nervous to act with her, but she's given me so much advice. She's a really lovely lady, and obviously she's been in my shoes before, making her first debut with Akshay and Andaz.
Given that, in the South, you've acted in quite a few South Indian films, Tamil films, Madras Patnam. I grew up in Madras, so I relate very well to some of the things you did in that film. But how different is it? You hear very often about how different, the Tamil film industry are or the Telugu film industry is compared to, the Bombay film industry. So, are they really as different as people make them out to be?
Well, I thought that they were pretty similar until last week. I went back to do some patchwork for a Tamil film which is releasing in November, and I did see the difference and a contrast. Mainly, the number one thing I did notice is in South, everything's very unpredictable. So you never know what you're doing from one day to the next, and one scene might change, and then the next scene might change, and we might scrap that scene and do something completely different. And on this film in particular, in Bollywood, it was very precise and organized. So they're both different, and they're both in their nice ways.
The two things that you hear pretty often when you're comparing South Indian films and Hindi films, Bollywood films, is South Indian films are more creative, they're more technically proficient, braver issues, more daring themes. Is that true?
Well, I think that the Tamil industry in particular, I know an actor, Trisha, who's a superstar down south. Now, she's doing a very female-orientated film now.
Yeah.
And I think that the South industry is pushing in that direction a lot. For instance, which released in January, it sent out a message, and although it was an entertainment film, there was a message there as well. So I think they can correlate with the Hindi and the Tamil now.
But in terms of daring themes, do you think, I assume you watch a lot of Hindi films, so do South Indian films tend to have more daring themes? Do you get the sense that Hindi films try and play it safe? Of course, we've seen a lot of films that have taken on socially important issues, especially recently. But more in the South, do you think that?
I think that the South has a lot to offer in that respect because a lot of remakes happen in Hindi. So the stories do come from down south, and they're very good, and that's why obviously they do get remade into different languages.
What were the biggest challenges you faced? This is probably the most common question you get asked, but starting out, you're not from here, the language is different, the sort of stationality is different, the way you're actually pitched, it leaves room open for, sort of typecasting or stereotyping, because you're white, you're not Indian, the kinds of roles that you might want to do. Have you ever felt that there is a certain kind of typecasting for people like you?
I've been very fortunate. I started my career actually in a period film, obviously like you mentioned, Madras Pattanam, and I played an English 1940s governor daughter. And since then, my roles have been very varied. I played a girl from Kerala in Ek Divanata. I played a typical Tamil girl in I. So I've been lucky in that respect, but I've deliberately chosen films and scripts so that I don't get typecast, because I want to do something different, and I'm fortunate to have directors who allow me to do that and who allow me to grow as an actor.
How difficult was it to pick up Tamil? I mean, I speak Tamil because I grew up in Madras, but it's a difficult language.
It's a very difficult language. And Shankar sir, when we shot for I, there was no prompting, no cards, no nothing, so I had to learn the language, or at least my dialogues, and I'd practice every single night. It was difficult, but it was worth it.
Give us a sample of your Tamil.
Okay, I'll do a scene which is a very local Tamil language between me and Bikram, and I'm confessing my love to him basically. And it goes, in the balinge sa samud katyache du kalapte polikde lara nenjla rukra manja sotium editiyame.
I don't know if anyone here understood that, but I did. I definitely did. And Hindi, is Hindi tougher for you?
Actually, in Singh Bling,
You don't speak Hindi?
No, so the concept is, Akshay can't speak English, and I can't speak Hindi, and we have Lara who creates absolute chaos as the translator. So for this film, I didn't actually have to speak Hindi, but working in Bollywood, and obviously being in Mumbai, you pick the language up and you listen to it and you hear it. So I'm learning my Hindi.
Are we going to see you do more Hindi films now? Singh Bling is a huge film. I mean, the level of publicity that we're seeing out there is enormous. So are we going to see you do many more Hindi films now?
Definitely. I'd like to make my mark here. I'm living in Mumbai. Up next, I've got a couple of Tamil films finishing, and I'd like to definitely do more Bollywood films also.
You hear very often, Amy, about the kinds of roles that actors want to do. And I think actresses get asked this question a lot more. I think that probably has something to do with the sort of inherent sexism of such
Yes,
questions.
stereotypical.
But I still think it's an important question because is there a role that you haven't been in the industry for very long, but and you have had a variety of roles. You say that you haven't been stereotyped, you haven't been typecast, but is there a certain kind of role that you want to play? And is there a kind of role that you don't think you'll ever be able to play because of your identity?
Well, this role in particular, Sarah in Singh's Bling, this is actually my dream role. I always wanted to play an action girl, and this is out-and-out action. It's got 3 enormous fight scenes, which I'm quite proud to say didn't have a dupe. So I did that with a lot of help from Akshay and our choreographer. And I think, particularly in Bollywood films, we don't see the girls doing enough action and getting involved, and I think that would be great to set a trend. That girls can do action as well and you know, be good at it.
What are the kinds of roles, apart from Singh's Bling, in all the movies that you've seen? And I'm sure you've seen old movies as well. Are there any famous roles that you see yourself doing? You know, iconic roles, recent, old?
One of my inspirations is Kareena Kapoor. And my favourite film is Jab We Met because her personality and her quirkiness and her energy, I'd love to do a role like that. And obviously Kareena's done roles which are very female orientated, such as Heroine. And she's definitely set the bar high for heroines these days.
Yeah. For actors, apart from the from the established set, people like Kareena and Priyanka, yourself now, as someone who not very long ago was getting into the industry and growing within it, and I'm going to ask you to be a little honest with me here.
Please,
but
please.
Tell us a little bit about some of the unpleasant things you may have faced in terms of sexism or prejudice, because once actors become established, there's a nervousness about talking about the ugly side of the film industry. Are you at a stage where you still think you can talk about those things? Have you ever?
I wish I could give you some details about it, but honestly, I've had a good stint in the industry, and I think it's more about how you portray yourself and how you want things in your mind. And I'm very strong-minded and I know exactly what I want, so it hasn't affected me in that way.
What does your family think of your films?
They love it. Oh,
Do they watch all your films?
Yeah, my mum's over next week, and every time a film releases, my best friend does a premiere in my hometown in Liverpool. So I don't usually go to that because obviously I'm usually here in India when it releases. But my friends, my school friends, my family, they all go and watch the film the day it releases in my city. And
what are some of the most interesting things your family has had to say about your films?
Lots, because obviously it's a completely different film.
Because when you started off in the Indian film industry, it was abrupt, if I'm not mistaken. You were suddenly in the Indian film industry.
Thrown into the deep end.
So not just you, but even your family didn't really have a background in terms of appreciating Indian film, which is so vastly different from every other kind of film. So how did they get into it? Was it funny?
Yeah, it's brilliant. You know, it was completely unexpected, and after I completed the first film, I said to my mum and dad, oh, this is great, there's something to show the grandkids when I'm 80, I've been in a film, and I didn't expect that it would, go on to what's happened now. But my family are very supportive. I think that's the main thing, to keep you grounded and to keep you determined and dedicated. My mum and dad are here quite often, but they love it. My mum constantly listens to all my music CDs from different films.
Do you see yourself, for the foreseeable future, working only in Indian films, or do you think, because you're British, you could work in films abroad as well? I mean, are there opportunities? What's the scene like for someone like you?
My scene, basically now, I was thrown into acting, and I've realised now it's really a passion of mine. And basically, I'll go by script, I'll go whether I can do justice to the character, whether I feel, relatable to it. So it doesn't matter whatever language. My director, Prabhu sir, always says, cinema has no language. But for the foreseeable future, I'm here in Mumbai and trying to make my mark.
So for the foreseeable future, Amy Jackson's going to be in the country. Okay, we have time for just a few questions with Amy. You can ask about her new film or anything else you like. Any questions? Okay, I'd like to ask you in that case, because I thought I was hogging all the questions. But
Go for it.
any sexism you've faced within the industry? Has anyone said anything that's offended you within the industry, or have you always been treated respectfully?
I must admit, I have been treated respectfully. I wouldn't stand for it otherwise. And I think that's what women are about today. We stand up for ourselves and we don't take any nonsense.
Yeah, I've seen journalistic reports, especially now with your film coming out, comparing you with people like Katrina Kaif and her identity. I don't know how much there is in common, but there are some overlaps there. Are you comfortable with comparisons with other actors?
It's very flattering to be compared to Katrina, but I don't particularly like it because, you know, Katrina's a massive superstar and she's been in the industry for a long time, and I'm just a newcomer and I'm just starting out. But it's very flattering.
I'm going to end on a note which is a question that a lot of actors like you are asked. What would you say to actors? You know, the thing is, people looking at the Mumbai film industry or any other film industry, the number of people who make it is obviously a small little fraction compared to the people who, you know, fall by the wayside, you know, even if they're really, really talented.
Yes.
What would you say? You know, apart from the cliched advice of, you know, follow your heart and, you know, continue doing what you're going to do, what is it? Because there are so many millions of people who dream about that kind of life.
I got told some very good advice, and I mean, talent goes a long way, but dedication and hard work overcomes talent. If you're talented and not interested or not trying your best, then those people are ready to come and take your place because they're trying very hard. So dedication, hard work, and determination.
Singh's Bling is out on the 2nd of October. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Jackson.
Thank you.
Amy, thank you so much. I'll just request you to be on stage for a bit. We have a lucky draw by one of our main sponsors, PCGA, and that's the little bowl. And we'll just request you to take out the lucky winner. I'll help you with the name. Oh, great. Yeah. Can we have the gold back, please? Before I announce the lucky winners, I would request India Today Group CEO to kindly come on stage and just give a small token of appreciation for your time, Amy. Thank you so much for coming to the India Today Women's Summits Award.